A very good afternoon. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you for taking the time to attend today's webinar. I am Sharda from the marketing team of ManageEngine, and I will be your presenter for today. I hope my voice is audible and the display is well and clear. Please let me know if not in the chat box provided. If my voice is audible and the display is well and clear, please drop in a thumbs up or an OK message in the questions tab or the chat box provided. All right, thank you so much. Yes, we are going to be talking about Active Directory and Cloud Applications password management made easy for the end users. So before I jump into the session, I want to give you a quick brief of what you can look forward to in this webinar. We are going to be managing Active Directory and Cloud Applications with ManageEngine's integrated password self-service and single sign-on application, that is ADSelfService Plus. And this is going to be a 45-minute session where the last 10 minutes is dedicated to the question answer session. But I request you to keep your questions coming during the session itself, which will make the session much interactive and much better. So please keep your questions coming and I will try to answer them during the session itself. If not, I will take them right at the end of today's session. So yes, with that said, let us look at the need for efficient password management. Starting from the basic need of why we need to focus on password management. So I'm sure we all come from organizations where we are being bombarded with help desk calls. Users call the help desk to sort any kind of issue they face in their everyday work environment. But the major trouble here is almost 40% of the help desk calls is because of password management troubles. And when I say 40%, that is a huge number. But we're also looking at completely eliminating these help desk calls because of password management troubles. And how do we do that? Most of the organizations still work on Windows environment, that is the Active Directory, but Active Directory still does not support password self-service. It does not permit users to take care of their password self-service actions. So we're talking about applications like our mail, like the G Suite, Office 365, and other applications, including Azure, which helps users to take care or manage their own password troubles. But with respect to the native Windows environment, there is not something that is in picture as of yet. And password self-service is one feature that would completely work towards eliminating or drastically reducing these help desk calls. Also, talking about the security factor or the importance of password management with respect to security, the native Windows domain password policy has not seen any major change in about 18 years. So we're talking about 18 years of the same password policy, the same password complexity rules, and looking at today's trends moving towards an era where security breaches like ransomware and hackers cracking into networks have become so frequent that even really big organizations go through security breaches very often. We've seen a huge track record last year, that is 2017, and it is statistically proven that almost 70% of these security breaches is based on a password breach, is based on a misused user identity. And I think that is where the importance of password policy comes into picture, and that is where or how AD Self-Service Plus can help us efficiently manage passwords. And also, we are in an era of cloud technology. We are fast moving towards adopting cloud technology. Though we have hybrid environment in today's, most of the organizations adapt to an hybrid environment, we are very steadily moving towards cloud technology. So it is also important to uh, equally keep the users informed about their cloud password management, but also help them take care of their Active Directory password management as well. So when I said an integrated password self-service and single sign-on solution, that is exactly what I mean. We are going to be focusing on password management, not only for the Active Directory but other on-premises and cloud applications as well. And this can be achieved using AD Self-Service Plus. So quickly moving into the answer that we're looking for today and how the solution, that is AD Self-Service Plus, is going to help us. So what I've done is categorized features based on their uh, feature category, and I've sorted it into self-service, security, one identity, and reports and notification. So what you're seeing on your screens is basically how AD Self-Service Plus can be sorted based on user actions and other important features like security and one identity. So I'm going to go through every single step listed on your screen right here in today's webinar. I'm going to go through and give you a complete insight into how AD Self-Service Plus works, but from an end user's perspective. How, after deploying AD Self-Service Plus in your organization, end users can make the best benefit out of it, and how simple, easy, yet reliable and secure the solution is. That is exactly what you can look forward to in today's session. And I'm going to show you every single aspect displayed on your screen right now. And if you have any questions during the session, please pop them in the questions tab. I will try to answer them during the session itself. If not, you can wait until the last 10 minutes of the session and I will get in touch with you and give you a right answer to all the questions that you have. Also, the video of this particular session will be available online, but if you want me to personally mail it to you along with the slide desk, all you need to do is drop in your mail IDs once again in the questions or chat tab so I can make sure that it reaches you. All right, so with that said, let's start with the first step. We are going to go through password reset and password change operations. So quickly jumping into the AD Self-Service Plus portal. This is your password self-service management portal. So what I'm going to do is try and go through the native method of a password change before I make use of the web application. So what would a user naturally do when he requires to change his password? Let's take an example of the user Brian. Brian is going to try and change his password. So what Brian needs to do is enter his whole password, and this one single step done in the Gina CP screen completely changes the insight a user has with respect to change password operation. And I'm sure you would have guessed why. This is because most of the users are not aware of the set of password policies that they need to abide to, and simply by enforcing a password policy and displaying the password policy rules in the Gina CP screen, as well as all the reset and change password pages, you just make things much simpler and give users a better understanding of the importance of passwords. And that is exactly what we're focusing on. And this can be achieved using AD Self-Service Plus. So you can see that as I type my new password, I have a check against each and every complexity rule that I've abided to. So I'm quickly going to key in and reconfirm my new password. I have abided to all the password complexity rules, and I'm going to go about with the password change for the user Brian. Wasn't that simple? It was also pretty informative for the user because most of the time the user is not aware of his password strength, the user is not aware of the complexity his password requires, and This sometimes also leads to a help desk call where a user contacts the help desk and says, I'm not able to change my password to what I want it to be. So can you please help me with that? Because the user is not aware of the password complexity rules. So one simple step of displaying the password in all the reset and change password screens, the password policy, makes things much, much simpler. All right, so let's look at the major aspect of password related help desk calls. The major reason why a user calls the help desk, though I said that 40% of the help desk calls is because of password management troubles, almost 35 to 70% of those calls are because of a forgotten password or a password reset operation. Users tend to forget their passwords. It is something that we face on an everyday basis. We are bombarded with help desk calls where users do not remember their passwords anymore. And it is pretty straightforward with respect to the ADSelfService Plus application. All the user needs to do is go and hit the forgot your password link. And this process works pretty much the same with unlocking user accounts as well. But I'm going to go about with resetting the user password. Once again, I'm going to stick to Brian's username. The domain I'm working with is SSP Workshop. Quickly keying in the captcha and let me see where I proceed to. So yes, I have been redirected to my multi-factor authentication page, and in this case, it is a verification code. So I need to reconfirm my identity via the verification method. So I'm going to choose my mail ID and go about and see how this works. So once I've chosen my mail ID, I'm going to quickly key in and continue. Looks like I've made a mistake with the captcha. This is something which is very tricky for somebody like me. I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing every single time. So yes, that worked for me. Thank you. So yes, I've been redirected to the verification code page and I'm asked to enter the verification code which was sent to me via email. So quickly logging in into my account, I am going to find that mail and try and complete the secondary factor of authentication. If you notice, there's also a time ticking, a time left for this operation. I have entered the captcha and yes, I am redirected to the password reset page. A simple two-step process yet secure. And when I'm talking about multi-factor authenticators, it starts right from the basic security question answers, moving all the way up to verification code via email and SMS, RSA Secure ID, Duo Security, Google Authenticator, and the options are there are quite a few options for multi-factor authentication. You as an administrator can also force a particular factor of authentication. At the same time, users can choose to authenticate their identity with one particular method, and all this works with a series of combinations under the configuration tab. So here you can also notice that the password policy that is listed right here on your screen is not the domain Windows password policy. This is the password policy that I enforced from the ADSelfService Plus portal. This is the granular custom password policy. So this is another major advantage of ADSelfService Plus. And you can see once again, as I am trying to reset my password, I have a check against all the complexity rules that I've abided to and also a green good to go slider. So what I'm going to do is quickly key in my captcha and complete the password reset operation. Yes, my password reset has been successful. So this is how simple it is for users to go through a password self-service operation. So now I'm going to log in into Brian's domain user portal, logging in as Brian into my AD Self-Service Plus portal. What I'm going to do now is self-update personal information into the Active Directory. So I'm going to quickly tweak the mobile number You can see I just did a random telephone number right there. Click on update, and I have a message which says the properties have been successfully updated. I am going to go to Active Directory users and computers, access Daniel's properties, and show you. I'm sorry, I'm working with Brian, right? What was I thinking? So yes, accessing Brian's properties, you can see right there that the telephone attribute has been updated. And this was possible from the ADSelfService Plus portal. Also, you can customize this particular self-update layout, thereby you as an administrator or you as an from the organizations and do not have to bother about updating users' information or keeping track of users' information. You empower users to self-service or self-update their personal information right into the Active Directory. Also, you can monitor users' self-service actions with the help of approval workflow by integrating with help desk software. All right, so this is with respect to the self-service part of AD Self-Service Plus. You can empower users to go through password reset, password change password operations, self-update of personal information. You can also ensure that they can choose to subscribe to mail groups and few other features as well. So moving on to the next segment, we were talking about security, and I'm going to quickly jump and talk more about the password policy enforcer, for which what I'm going to do is log in as an administrator and show you what I've previously configured. So under the configuration tab, under password policy enforcer is what you see, a list of custom password policy complexity rules, starting from the basic password length, a minimum and maximum password length, moving up all the way moving up the ladder all the way to more complex rules like palindrome passwords, consecutive characters from a username, previous password history, dictionary rule, restricted patterns, and finally the passphrase rule. Also, the password policy, the granular password policy that you customize for users in your organization based on Active Directory groups and OUs, can be displayed not only in the password reset and change password pages, but it is also enforced in the GINA CP screen, which is your Control Alt Delete screen, as well as the ADUC password reset console. So what I mean to say here is that the password policy enforcer, the granular password policy enforcer that you enable for specific users based on their organizational roles, can also be enforced not only for your Active Directory but across multiple on-premises and cloud applications. I mean applications like Salesforce, applications like Zendesk, G Suite, Zoho, HPUX, Oracle, IBM, and a few other applications as well. So you can enforce a granular password policy and ensure that not only the Active Directory domain Windows password policy is secure, but you can ensure security across multiple on-premises and cloud applications as well. So moving on to the second factor of security, a factor of concern. One of the easiest way to gain access into a network is by misusing a user's identity. So when we talk about password reset process, we also try to emphasize about how important it is to secure the reset process. So we went through a verification code method of authentication to go through a password reset operation for the user Brian. But like I said, this can also be customized and enforced for users based on policies, self-service policies that you create, and this self-service policy is solely based on organizational units and groups present in your Active Directory. Also, you can configure security question answer, verification code, Google Authenticator, Duo Security, and a few other authenticators as well. We also have the mobile authenticator, which is which works from the ADSelfService Plus mobile application. So on-the-go password reset, a secure on-the-go password reset is also possible. All right, so I'm going to move on and talk a little about the importance of password expiry notification. So I've already set a soon to expire password notification scheduler. I'm going to run this scheduler right now. And what I've done in the background is in the user console, I've created an organizational unit under my name and sub-organizational units trying to depict an organizational structure. So admin, finance, and HR, I've sorted users into each of these OUs and basically given one single mail ID to all of them so I can access it. So I'm going to jump to that particular mail ID right now and show you that I've received two different kinds of notification. One is a password expiry notification and one is an expired notification. So a password expiry notification tells you or notifies the user about an impending password expiry or an impending account expiry. You can customize this message according to your needs. You can also put in a link right there to ensure that users go and change their password right away to prevent a password expiration. You can also keep the password expired users notified about their expired passwords. So here you see a couple of users whose passwords have already expired. So this is how you notify users and prevent expiration, but at the same time keep the other users informed. These password expiry notifications can be scheduled. They can be customized. The messages can be customized. You can send notify users on a particular frequency. You can notify them via mail, SMS, and push notification. You can also send targeted messages on specific days with customized messages, and this will ensure that a periodic reminder or notification is sent to users to avoid password expiration. All right, so this is with respect to password expiry notification. Moving on and exploring a little about one identity. So we are talking about almost 100 plus cloud applications under single sign-on, starting from G Suite, Office 365, Salesforce, Zendesk, Dropbox, moving all the way down to Slack. We have purely HR, we have people. The list seems pretty endless. We support more than 100 applications. I see ServiceNow, Desk, Humanity, Bamboo HR. Yes, quite a lot of applications supported for single sign-on. And as you can see, I've already pre-configured two applications, two of the most widely used applications. So I'm going to go through a single sign-on operation right now to show you how this works from an end user's perspective. Also, if you wish to get started working with ADSelfService Plus, you can hit the help document where we have a stepwise guide to help you configure single sign-on for each and every application listed on the screen. So what I'm going to do now is log in as a user. I'm logging in as Sharada. And since I've configured single sign-on specific to OUs and groups, you can see the applications tab listed right here and access to my Office 365 account. A one-click seamless access to my Office 365 account. But what is so exciting about this? What is so exciting about trying to log in and access Office 365 from my ADSelfService Plus console? So what I'm going to do now is try and access Office 365 directly from the link. So signing in as Sharada into the domain that I'm working with, and you can see that I'm redirected to the ADSelfService Plus page. This page is once again customizable, and once I key in my native Windows logon credentials, you can see that I have a one-click seamless access to Office 365, my Office 365 account. A one-click seamless access to my Office 365 account with just one set of credentials, with just my Windows logon credentials, my username and password. Doesn't that make things extremely simple for users who use an average of 5 to 7 applications on an everyday basis? Yes, you heard the number right. The average number of applications an average user uses in an organization ranges between 5 to 7, which means practically logging in and accessing 5 to 7 applications every single day. And you can make it easy by enabling single sign-on specific to users based on their OUs and groups present in their Active Directory and give them a one portal, one click, seamless access to all these applications. I really enjoy doing the one identity part because I get to talk about how simple yet secure the entire process is. So did you just hear me say secure and single sign-on in the same line? Yes, you sure did. So I'm going to quickly go and explain that to you. We all are concerned about providing a one-click access, a one identity to multiple applications, simply because it means that I provide one set of credentials to access, say, 5 to 7 applications, which simply means one set of credentials being compromised is going to let out 5 to 7 accounts information, 5 to 7 applications information, which is huge. And that is exactly what we're trying to avoid. And how do we do that? We do that with the help of login two-factor authentication. You can enable two-factor authentication with any of the authenticators listed on your screen. And once you enable two-factor authentication, the user does not have to make use of only the password, but has to go through a secondary factor of authentication, and then will be able to successfully go forward with a password, a single sign-on access, a one identity access. So we have to come to terms with the fact that a password can be compromised. No password is non-hackable. We're not talking about enforcing a password policy to ensure that your password cannot be hacked. The idea is to secure and delay the process of hacking, and that is exactly what we're focusing on. So when I spoke about passphrases, I definitely recommend passphrases because it is literally proven that passphrases with a minimum password length of 13 and more take months together to break into. And we buy enough time to secure all our accounts by then. Months together to break into a user account is not something a hacker would want. And that is exactly what we're looking forward to. Also, a password is not good enough. So we are looking at two-factor authentication, and this can be done in two ways. One is the password, which is your primary factor of authentication, your Windows logon credentials. The secondary factor could be something that you have, which could be your email verification code or the application that you have, your mobile that you can verify with, or something that you are, like your fingerprint. You can make use of mobile authenticator from the ADSelfService Plus mobile application and ensure that users have a fingerprint authentication to go through the password reset. I'm sorry, to go through a login operation with two-factor authentication. All right. So moving on and looking at the other side of one identity, we are going to be exploring password synchronization. So like I said, I've already pre-configured password synchronization for the user Daniel, and I'm going to go and try and change Daniel's password right now. So logging into Daniel's ADSelfService Plus user portal, I am going to the change password tab and going to try and change Daniel's Salesforce password. Yes, I am talking about password management for Daniel's cloud application, that is Salesforce. And this can be done across all the password synchronization enabled applications. So password management, password changes and resets for all the applications for which password synchronization has been enabled can be done independently as well. But you as an administrator can also restrict this option by setting Active Directory as a mandatory field. So now the setting does not go by that. So I'm going to try and change only my Salesforce password. So keying in the old password, I'm going to try and see if I can change the password. So yes, my Salesforce password has been successfully reset. I was able to successfully change my Salesforce password, and this was not done by logging into Salesforce. I didn't have to look out for different applications, my user ID, password. I didn't have to go through and go and search for URLs to access applications. And this seems pretty simple when I'm talking about one single application, but when users are forced to use more than 5 applications on an everyday basis, it definitely leads to password fatigue. And that can surely be avoided by giving them one identity. By giving them one identity, I give them one set of credentials either through a single sign-on application or through password synchronization, one set of credentials which ensures that they can access multiple applications with one set of credentials. I'm also talking about one set of secure credentials, and by secure I mean passwords that comply to a granular password policy, passwords that are much stronger, passwords that are not easy to crack, and passwords that are much secure. All right, so with that said, I have almost covered all the aspects of ADSelfService Plus. We saw how to go about with password self-service. We went through a change password operation from the Gina CP screen. We also did a password reset using multi-factor authentication. We self-updated Brian's telephone number. We went through the password policy complexity rules in the granular password policy enforcer. I also showed the different options available for multi-factor authenticators and how to enable two-factor authentication for logon. We explored single sign-on for Office 365 for the user Sharda, and we were able to successfully manage passwords with the help of password synchronization for Salesforce, and that was done for the user Daniel. So we also looked at notification. Notification is not only for password expiry, there's password account expiry notifications. You can notify managers about user roles. You can keep administrators notified about reports. You can send out reports, export reports, and notify administrators about what is going on in their password environment. So I'm going to quickly give you a look into the reports tab right now. So the reports are sorted into user reports, enrollment reports, and audit reports. So you can see or get a complete insight into what is happening in your user's password environment, your native Windows environment right here. So let me show you the change password audit report. So Daniel went through a change password audit right now, a couple of minutes back, when it was attempted, where it was attempted from, when it was attempted, and a status of attempt as well. So these reports can be filtered, these reports can be uh, generated for a specific period, it can be exported. You can also go through the other settings. You can also schedule these reports. So this is just one report, which is the change password audit reports. I'm also going to give you a quick look into the soon to expire password reports. You can customize it based on OUs and groups present in your Active Directory or self-service policies that you've created from ADSelfService Plus. You can add or remove columns and notify users accordingly. So we're talking about the A to Z of password management for not only your Active Directory, but other on-premises and cloud applications as well. And this can be achieved with the help of a password self-service management solution. And in this case, ManageEngine's ADSelfService Plus definitely lets you do that, and lets you do that seamlessly. The setup takes a couple of minutes. I'm sure you can go and download ADSelfService Plus and get started working with to see if you have a good experience of using it, if you enjoy the experience of using it, if it works well for users in your organization, and then it is your call to make. So explore ADSelfService Plus and see if password management can be made easy for users in your organization. On that note, I would also like to give you a quick information about our GDPR resource zone right here. We have a couple of documents that you might be interested in. So I'm going to quickly drop in the link to you right now. You can take a look at it when you find time. We also have a GDPR webinar coming up to talk about the importance of GDPR, being aware and compliant well in advance. So yes, take a look on how Manage Engine is going to help you be prepared for the GDPR. All right, so with that said, I have come to the end of today's session. I really hope that the session was useful to you and you got a complete insight into the end user's perspective of password management for Active Directory and cloud applications. So if you're looking forward to learning about the configuration for any of these features, please feel free to drop an email to support@ADSelfServicePlus.com. You can also forward your questions, queries about today's session personally to me at sharda@manageengine.com. You can also request for resource kits and help documents, and I will ensure that you go through a seamless process of setting up ADSelfService Plus in your organization and enjoy the experience of using ADSelfService Plus. So your feedback is welcome. Please drop in your honest feedback in the form that will be sent to you right after today's session. Please give in ideas for the upcoming webinars, what you want to see from us, what you're looking forward to with respect to Manage Engine ADSelfService Plus. And we take the feedback form very seriously, and I promise to take the best efforts to make this experience of using ADSelfService Plus a delight. On that note, I would like to personally thank you for taking time away from your busy schedule to make time for this webinar that I had the immense pleasure of hosting. It was a great joy to be part of this webinar, to be the host of today's presentation. And I would like to thank you for that. And now is the time I go and take time to answer all your questions. Please keep them coming. You can drop in your mail IDs if you personally wish to receive a copy of today's session. On that note, this is Sharda from the marketing team of Manage Engine signing off for today. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.